Okay, so this is the birds of the feather one, Punnett squares. So you should have a basic understanding now of what a phenotype is, what a genotype is, and how to write them. And how they go in the little Punnett squares. So we're going to practice at this. We're going to be doing this the rest of the week with the exception of Friday because we're not going to be here. Woohoo! But you should have a basic understanding of what a Punnett square is. So Punnett squares are used by scientists to predict how inherited traits will be passed from the parent to the offspring. This bird has two dominant traits for blue feathers. So it is a dominant trait. So dominant is blue. In this case, it has two big A's. Okay. It could also technically be, to have the blue traits, it could also have big A, little a. Okay, as long as it has at least one. This bird has two recessive genes for red feathers. Okay, so little a, little a. Why they picked A, I don't know. I probably would have picked B, but it is what it is. So A is a recessive trait for red feathers. Each offspring inherits one gene from each parent. Okay, and again, it doesn't matter which one, if they put big A, little a, that doesn't matter. Your results are going to be exactly the same. So if you have these parents, now how I think of each square is I'm just kind of combining these two. So I'm going to take this one there and this one there. Okay, so I'm filling in that box with these two. So this is going to be big A, little a. Your capital letter always goes first, irregardless if this was a little a and your big letter always goes first. Now for the second box down here, same thing. You are going to take, is that my foot? Oh yeah, that is my foot. Ah, weird. This one and this one. So you're just kind of combining them. So this is big A, little a. Okay. And for this box over here, you're going to combine that one with this one. So big A, little a. And then for this last box, combine these two, big A, little a. So all of the, actually, genotypes are going to be exactly the same for all four offspring because of how the parents are. Now, is this little bird going to have red or blue wings? If you know that blue is dominant, okay, blue is dominant, all of these birds have blue wings. Because blue is the dominant trait, and they all have at least one capital letter. So looking up here, how many offspring are there? Well, there was 4. Okay, if I was looking down at my little box, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just the possibilities. List the genotype, the double letter pattern, and the phenotype, color for each one. This one's actually going to be pretty easy. They all have the same exact genotype. Now, if it was different, your boxes would be a little bit different, but because this is all blue, blue, blue. You're like, duh, Miss Penny, I'm aware of this concept. I can understand this. It does get a little bit more tricky, kind of, not really. Why do all the offspring have the same color? You should be able to figure that out. Well, gee, Miss Penny, because they all have the dominant trait. I'm just going to put B/C. They all have the dominant allele. Okay? Just because they don't have both upper letters, or uppercase letters does not mean they aren't going to have the dominant trait. So now it says, suppose two of the offspring from this group become parents. Remember, both offspring have blue feathers. Each offspring has a dominant gene for blue feathers and a recessive trait, which means that each parent is going to be uppercase and lowercase a. Okay. Complete the Punnett square to determine the feather offspring. So again, we're not really worried about which one goes where. In this case, they're the same. So capital A, lowercase, is one parent. So I'm going to take one here. And then this one is going to represent the other parent. So big A, little a. And now your Punnett square is going to look a little bit different than the original one. In this case, we're going to add these two big ones together. We're just going to be two big A's. Makes sense. And it doesn't matter which order you do. So this one, now, if I was to pull this one first, just because lowercase doesn't mean you put it first, we still have our capitals. This is going to be big A, little a. Get back up here. The order doesn't matter. However you solve this is easiest. Big A plus that one. And then, oh my gosh, we might just have a little recessive one. So we're going to take both of these little A's together. That's what it should look like. Okay. So this Punnett square comes from these two. This square right here comes from those two combining. This square comes from those two, and this one comes from those two. And again, the more practice you get at this, the better off you're going to be. So list the genotype or double letter pattern and the phenotype for the feather color. So this comes directly from this little Punnett square right here. So my genotype, the first one was AA, another one was AA. I'm misspelling, they're all. So 2 big A's, next one is big A, little a, and then 2 little A's. What feather color is this bird going to have? It has 2 dominant traits. We know that blue is dominant, so the feather color is going to be blue. Big A, little a, we're still blue because we still have the dominant trait. Big A, little a, still blue because it has the dominant trait. And then this one, oh my gosh, we have a crazy one. It has the 2 recessive traits, so this one is actually going to be red. So even though both the parents were blue, because of that genetic code from, that looks really weird, because it got the recessive gene from the other parents here and here, it's going to give you the possibility that the offspring, there's a 75% will be blue, while the 25% is red. So if they had 4 kids and 3 of them hatched blue and 1 hatched red, nothing wrong with that. And that's, ta-da, the end of it.